Hey guys, what's up? DC here. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a question I get a fair bit. What a white belt should be focusing on within their training. This is a pretty simple question, but it's a little bit detailed, so I'll go into it. So I think one of the first things that people do when they start jiu-jitsu is that they want to do a lot of submissions, right? They want to get good positions and they want to do submission. But the thing that you should focus on as a white belt is defense. You want to work on defending and escaping. Once you can defend yourself under a position, like let's take mount for example. If someone's sitting on top of you on the mount and you're hard to tap, you're prolonging your role within that position, right? Let's say I got mounted and I was not aware of how to defend myself underneath, and I start pushing on my partner and I'm trying to roll them over. I'm opening my arms up to be arm locked. I'm opening my arms up to be kimura. I'm opening my neck up to be choked. And every time I tap, we have to restart, and I might end up back under the mount again, but there's going to be a period of time where I'm not. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I end up in the side control. Maybe I end up with the guy on my back. So whenever you get into a position, which is like, you see it as a bad position, guys on the mount, you're on the bottom, Start off by trying to maintain your position underneath for as long as possible. So you want to be bringing your arms in, defending your neck, defending your elbows, defending your shoulders. You want to understand by feeling it and their movement and reading their body mechanics of what they're trying to achieve on you, right? They have the control on top. You have no control from the bottom when we're talking about the mount. So they're going to be looking to either advance their position or submit you. So you need to be able to read when someone is going to transition to a better position. Maybe they transition to the back, or you need to be able to understand when someone's looking for your neck as opposed to when they're looking for your arm, right? So learning how to read those things and staying within the role longer is going to be better. Even if you're in a bad position, it doesn't matter, because the longer you can stay in that bad position without being submitted, the more time we have to start to work out how to now facilitate an escape from that position. And that's the next thing we're going to start looking at. Once we feel like we can be quite annoying to our partner, if they mount us, if they get on side control, if they knee ride us, or if they take our back, but they can't tap us, then we can start taking those chances of the next step, which is the escape. Because if I try to escape with no defense to any of those positions, I'm going to open my body up to be submitted. But if I can build a strong defense and then move to my escape, even if I make a mistake where they can start to try to submit me, I know that I can always rebuild my defense again if I need it, midway through my escape. Once I get good enough at understanding and transitioning between defending and escaping, and when I need to do each one, obviously within combination of each other, but when I lean more towards defending as opposed to more towards escaping, I guess when it's safer to escape and when I have to retreat back to a defense, you're going to be able to start to really take a few more chances on your escapes, right? You're going to be able to give a little bit of like, all right, I can put my arm here because I know that I'm safe over here. I can defend my neck here, but I can take my arm and put it down here. I can frame off the hip because I know that I have my body turned to the side, and it's hard to choke me from the side when I'm framing off his hip if he's on the mount. Whatever it is, whatever escape it is, that's purely up to your interpretation of the position or what that position dictates you to do. But understanding the defense is very, very important, and it may feel like it's boring. It may not be as glamorous as getting a big choke or a big sweep or taking the back or doing a big takedown, but it is the basic fundamental concept that you need to progress to those things that you want to do. You will not be able to do those things you want to do effectively in the future if you don't work on these basic concepts at the start. So the first thing is going to be defense. Become annoying is what I tell my students. Really make sure that if someone gets a good position on you, that they feel like they can't attack you. Everybody has been in a situation where they've got the mount or they've got side control and their partner is so good at defending and escaping those positions that even though they're in a controlling position, they feel like they're hanging onto it with their fingertips and they're unable to transition and they're unable to get to a submission. And then that oftentimes is when that's when it goes to relates to they get the escape, and then you end up back in their guard or whatever, and then the roll keeps going, right? You lose your control position. The person on the top was too good at their defense and escape. They put their time in. They've learned how to do that correctly, and now they can take those chances to escape. That also then rolls into later on when you're sort of blue and purple belt. Going back quickly, in the white belt, there's going to be a natural progression of that's going to lead to you being in some control and getting some submission. So I'm not saying don't work on those things too. There will be times when you'll just naturally work on them, because when you've got good defense and when you've got good escapes, you will naturally end up in better positions, and then you'll start to work in those better positions to submission. So you're not neglecting those things at all. It's just not your ultimate focus at a white belt level. Blue and purple, we can start leaning into controls a little bit more and learning how to submit a little bit more, because we understand that we have a good fundamental basis on defense and escape. So we can take a chance when we're controlling to do a submission. Because every time we transition or we make it from a good position to a good position, so we're transitioning from the mount to the back, there's always an opportunity that our partner can escape, right? We're giving some space, there's some movement. So, or if we're transitioning from mount to arm lock and we fall off on the mount to the arm lock, there's a possibility within the transition that there's an escape there for our partner. It's creating an opportunity for them. But we know that if we go to mount, we go for the arm lock, we fall off, we miss the arm lock, our partner gets on top, passes our guard, mounts us. We know we've got sound defense where we can work our way back out of that, back to a controlling position, right? So as a white belt, my advice to you is find enjoyment in learning how to defend yourself from bad positions and not get tapped, all right? Become annoying when people are like, man, I get the mount, I just can't tap that guy, so tough underneath those positions. From that's the first foundation of jiu-jitsu that you build to escaping position, right? You can take the chance to open up your body a little bit because you know when to defend. And that's the key. And then that escape, this works also with your guard, right? If you find yourself in someone's guard, open guard, closed guard, and you're getting swept all the time, you need to learn how to be in someone's guard, not just passing their guard, but how to be in the guard without being swept. So spend time in people's guards. Maybe don't look for a sweep. Just look to not get swept and not get your back taken. And through that process, you're going to open up the ability to see the pass. You're going to be harder to sweep, harder to take your back. Your balance is going to be better. Your understanding of reading position will be better. And then you'll be able to get momentum to move forward through the position and then get the pass that you need. If you stuff it up, and they sweep you, it doesn't matter. You end up on the bottom. You know that you can always recover back to guard by escaping because you have sound defense and escape. So defense and escape is the key at white belt. That is your core foundational concept. If after that, you can then naturally start to progress out of that into some control and some submissions. It's going to be natural happen. It's going to naturally happen anyway, but the focus is defense and escape, guys.